Hi, I'm Linda Allepin, a member of the Conscious Leadership Guild, and it's my pleasure today to be interviewing Sue Elliott. And Sue, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I am the founder of Loving Myself, and it's a coaching and healing practice focused on creating more self-love in the world. I believe that at the core, all of our issues are related to self-love, both individually and as a planet. And lack of self-love is really the cause of our problems. So the more that we can heal ourselves, because of we're all interconnected, the more we heal each of us, the more the planet heals.
Wow. So I think the first question is pretty appropriate given that. What's the story about how spiritual wisdom has touched and supported you in life and the work that you do?
Well, I love food and wine. I always joke that food and wine are my sports, and especially when they're paired with great conversation. So one of the things I really love to do is go to a restaurant and sit at the bar and chat with whoever's sitting next to me while I have an appetizer and a glass of wine. So I lead my life by tuning into guidance, following the energy, I call it. So one day I really wanted an appetizer and a glass of wine, and I felt into different restaurants around me. And, the first one had no energy, and the second one had no energy, and the third one felt like, yeah. So I went to that restaurant and I walked into the bar and there was one seat open. I love it when the infinite makes it really obvious. I sat in the open seat. And there were these two guys sitting next to me, and we started chatting about restaurants and food and wine and travel and having a good old time. And then all of a sudden, the maitre d' came over to them and said, "Gentlemen, we didn't expect to have a table for you, but somebody just canceled." So they got escorted away, and this married couple came and sat next to me, and I was on the last seat. So I had like nobody on one side and a married couple next to me, and I thought, oh, they're not going to talk to me. They're here to talk to each other. But sure enough, the women started talking to me, and we started talking about food and wine and travel and restaurants and having a good old time. And then they said, "What do you do?" And at the time, I was looking at launching a bottled water business called Bottled Kindness, where each bottle would have a different energy. So it would have an image and a word on it. I was very affected by the Emoto research on water and how water could carry different energies. And so, there would be kindness and courage and love. And imagine, if your coworker's having a bad day, you bring them a bottle of courage or a bottle of kindness. And so I was telling them about this. And I had a friend who had a bottled water business, so I knew most of the numbers of the business plan, but I didn't really know the distribution at the time. It was before I started working with the major retailers. So the people start asking me really good questions. And soon the guy tells me that he's actually the president of that region for Whole Foods, which is, of course, the number one chain that I wanted to get into. And he gave me all this advice on how to get into Whole Foods and which region to start with and how to roll it out nationwide. And I could never have gotten an audience with this guy through normal business channels. But because I tune into divine guidance for something as simple as where am I going to go eat right now, I was taken to the exact place and time where I could meet the right person to answer all my business related questions.
Fabulous. What power it has. So, what was that experience? Can you offer to the dialogue about conscious leadership?
Well, the work that I do, I call it coaching and healing work for lack of a better way to explain it, but mostly I get out of the way and I let the angels and the infinite work through me. And what I keep seeing, I work with business owners and leaders and other coaches and healers mostly. And what continues to be shown to me is this: we're each a unique facet on the one jewel that is the infinite. And that's on purpose, right? We're all different, and because we're each a different facet, we each have a slightly different perspective, or sometimes a very different perspective depending where we are. And our experiences and our perspective are incredibly valuable, and that to me speaks to diversity and inclusion in a really different way. And the oneness aspect of it, the part that we're all part of this one jewel, really transforms the conversation around sales and marketing. I'm connecting with other aspects of me. And so I love that I get to help people with this work, right? Because they're always, how do I do this? How do I release my fears? How do I release my blocks and limits? And that so speaks to it. It's a different perspective that I find incredibly powerful and empowering.
Yes, wisdom. Thank you. We're going to shift gears to what's your learning edge? Right? What energizes you to discover and learn?
The patterns and the hidden blocks and limits is so exciting to me to learn. I love understanding people, why they are the way they are, why they react the way they do, um, what sorts of like overarching patterns there are. Like there's a pattern of respect and disrespect on the planet and a pattern of abandonment. And so many of us, because we're all connected to the same collective consciousness, we get hooked by these things. So I love finding those patterns and dissolving people's blocks to joy and success and easy abundance.
Very clear. What do you long for? So, what's the focus on the future or the vision?
So this is what's come up lately. It's a world where everyone can do the work they were built to do. I believe that we were each given a unique constellation of superpowers and gifts and talents. And when we get to do those things, the ones that energize us, I know you and I were talking before about how we can do so many things, but some of those things drain us and some of those things energize us. So I long for a future, and I am intending to help co-create a future where everyone can say, I can't believe I get paid to do this.
Hmm.
Like that to me is a future of flourishing and joy and easy abundance.
Very nice. What kind of support are you inviting from other guild members?
I would love the chance to collaborate on projects. I find collaboration really energizing and very important right now. And of course, I'm honored to be of service if there's some way I can help. On my website, I do have a link to schedule free discovery sessions. So if you want to explore possibilities, come play. I would love to meet you.
Great. I think some people will take you up on that. Did you pick an open-ended question?
Oh, yes, I picked the second one.
So, what is it about you, your life experiences, values, curiosity, character, etc., that has drawn you to be engaged in conscious leadership?
Well, for many years, my specialty was creating new magazines that were sold on newsstands nationwide. And the last magazine that I launched from scratch was my passion project. It was called Law of Attraction magazine. It was really a much broader personal growth magazine. I would have liked to call it Joyful Living or something like that. But it was amazing to be able to help, you know, 30, 40,000 people with every issue, hundreds of thousands of people over the life of the magazine. And it made a difference in people's lives. People would reach out and let me know, like, my marriage is the best it's ever been now, or, which was very, very gratifying. But at the end of the day, I had this sense that I was helping a lot of people a little bit. And what I really wanted to do was help people more deeply. And I realized that every coaching client who had ever come to me was a business owner or a coach or healer who had their own practice. And there's leverage in helping leaders, business leaders, and coaches and healers because they go out and help a lot of other people. So it was really the leverage that drew me to the conscious leadership space. And I was feeling very guided to get involved in helping business leaders more directly because we spend so much time at work. I mean, work and sleep are the two primary things that we do in life. So if you can help people be more of their whole powerful, amazing selves at work, you can make a huge difference on the planet. So I would very much love to help people be love at work.
Thank you, Sue Elliott, for letting us get to know you.
Thank you. Thank you for facilitating.